Durag Wisdom here, folks, and welcome to Earth Date Y2K 17.06.09. Today I want to talk to you about how important it is for us to understand the fanatic Trump supporters. Alright, we're talking about the 700,000 people, I keep bringing that number up, who live in this country and who support basically a like a fascist government, totalitarian government here. This is very disturbing to me because there's going to be a group, a hardcore group of those people who are 100% against the principles of the country. Now, when we became a country, I mean, people came here and displaced the native peoples, destroyed them. You know, the Europeans, the white Europeans, the white Christian Europeans who came here, they didn't come here with anything but they wanted the land and they wanted religious freedom. And of course, they don't mean freedom from religion, religious freedom. If any of you had a chance to live with the Puritans, I wouldn't want to. I don't want to live in a society where I'm required to attend religious services. But people like that, eventually, you know, there are people like, I think, Roger Williams, who was living with the Puritans. They didn't like he was a Catholic, so, you know, they fled religious persecution, and now he was fleeing religious persecution, and I think he founded the Maryland colonies. I could be mistaken. I have to brush up on my American history. And by the way, folks, history is one of the most important studies for us now, because here we were in that, like, 15th, what is it, the 100s, 1600s, building a country. And we weren't at that time a democratic republic. We didn't have freedom from religion. Even at the time that we made our Constitution, we still didn't have complete democracy, because in the early days of our country, the only people that really had rights were white rich men. Of course, that's what they're trying to bring back now, the rule of right, white, old, rich men. There is a core group in every generation that wants to undermine what our country stands for. It took a long time, what is it, 100 years of our history before we had something called, started to get something called an idea of social progress. But in the 1870s, there was no middle class. There was no Social Security, there was no Medicare, there was no Medicaid, there was no unions, there was no safety in the workplace, there was no environmental protections. Of course, back then we didn't have all these automobiles and the need for oil that we have today. But here we were, in the 20th century, starting to get into unions, liberalism, progressivism, making of our country the democracy that we want it to be. Look at it. I mean, in the early days, only white men could vote. Now, women can vote. People of color can vote. People 18 can vote. But there is always going to be that force in our country and in every country and in the world to undermine the need for democracy. Because democracy is a people-orientated system. Oligarchy is a minority system. A system for just one group of people rich people, male people, or rich male and female people, whatever it is. So here we are in our age today, and I'm saying we've been fighting for our democratic republic and still fighting for it, and we still haven't reached the final stage of democracy. We have multi-parties and the like. We have a constitutional democratic republic, as my good friend Avi taught me. I used to call it a democratic republic. He added constitutional democratic republic. Every country has a population that loves, there's a fetish for totalitarian thinking, for fascism, either totalitarian fascism, totalitarian communism. Every country has that group, and we have at least 700,000 people in this country who, if they could vote for Hitler or Mussolini or Stalin or any other gross dictator we can have in the world, they would support them. This 700,000 people that live in this country that support Trump no matter what, they don't want Mike Pence, the Christian extremist. I don't want him either, but they don't want him. They don't want Paul shithead Ryan. I don't want him either, another religious extremist and hypocrite. This 700,000 want the chaos. They want the Trump-Putin twisted reality TV show kind of thing. That's what these people want. You see, once we impeach this prick, this Trump-Putin prick, and I realize it's not going to be easy because we have the GOP creeps in there now, but once he's impeached, there'll be a Pence or a Ryan in there, more likely a Ryan. And the fanatic 700,000, 35% who support this Trump-Putin creep traitor no matter what, they don't want a Pence. They don't want a Ryan because you could get rid of them in 4 years. You understand? The 700,000 fanatic morons that support Trump no matter what, including some of the people that visit me on this page, which I'm glad they do because we can learn. These people, they want a system of authoritarian, totalitarian, religious extremism. And they know that if this Trump-Putin traitor creep gets his way, we'll never get rid of him. And that's the end of our democratic republic. The end of our experiment with democracy. Okay? So just keep that in mind. We can get rid of the Pences in 4 years. We can get rid of the Ryans in 4 years. We can get rid of the influence of this creepy GOP rich person's party in 4 years. But if we let this creep Trump have his way, we're never going to be able to get rid of him. And that's what the 700,000 fanatic Trump supporters want. And we have a duty as citizens of this country to fight these creeps in this generation, as we did in the past with the McCarthys and all these other creeps of the 19th century. We're here to tell them, no, we want this country to continue its evolution toward pure democracy, and you sick, twisted, demented, totalitarian creeps are not going to stop us no matter what.